Ambassador, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us. What are your initial responses to the Foreign Secretary's comments?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for having me with you today. Qatar welcomes all fans from all over the world to come, irrespective of their gender, ethnicity, language, religion. And I kind of agree with the Secretary on his assessment and approach. We are, as he stated, doing everything we can to make sure that this is a safe and secure tournament for all fans. And we're open, and we have had, this is not the first international tournament that we have hosted. We have been hosting international tournaments for well over 25 years. And it strikes me that this one seems to the one that gets most of the attention. So in a nutshell, Qatar is a welcoming country, and we're looking forward to having the English Welsh fans come and celebrate and support their teams.
I mean, James cleverly talked about the need for compromise and flexibility on both sides. And, you know, I think it is reasonable to expect people to be respectful of a country to go. But is Qatar prepared to be flexible on this issue as well? If people who go over happen to be gay or lesbian, that is who they are. They can't change who they are.
And we're not asking anybody to change who they are. All we're saying is that, like you expect others to respect your own values and norms and cultures, if Qataris were to travel to the UK or foreigners, I think it is reasonable to expect others to respect the cultures and the values here. We don't discriminate. Nobody's going to be asked at any checkpoint to prove their gender or sexuality. As we've said, you know, Qatar is an open international society. We have well over 150 nationalities living and residing and calling Qatar home, with different, faith system or the faithless. So I think there's just a unfounded sensitivity towards this, and there has been no criminality. Nobody's been prosecuted for being a part of any community based on gender identity. So that's all I could say.
So if people came over and, for example, a gay male couple were holding hands or showing affection, kissing each other in the street, for example, how would the authorities react to that?
I would not comment on any hypothetical scenarios, but I would say that public displays of affection would probably be unlawful here in the UK.
That's not true. People holding hands or giving a kiss, or that's not unlawful.
In that instance, I would say holding hands is totally permitted in any culture, even in our culture. Come and hold any hands. That's not a problem at all. But there are certain interpretations of what would be a public display of affection in a particular country that might be different in another. So I think one has to just be mindful of the norms and cultures of Qatari society in that respect.
And what if there was a gay or a lesbian couple who want, big football fans, they're travelling out to enjoy the World Cup? They would obviously be wanting to share a room and, you know, be together as a couple. Is that permitted?
Again, you know, when you come to the check-in desk, they're not going to ask you whether you're gay or lesbian to have a room at any hotel. You could stay with as many people as you want, whether you're gay or lesbian. It's up to you. So I think there's no issue on that front.
And Peter Tatchell, of course, has been arrested. He has been released. Are you expecting more of these types of protests, and how will you deal with them?
Well, first of all, he hasn't been arrested. He was stopped and checked about his protest, and he's been released on the spot, and he continued his journey to his next destination. Qatar has a procedure for which people who wish to picket or protest need to follow and simply make an application, and that is for their own protection, the protection of the public. So if any group, interest group or party wish to make a stand for any cause, they just need to follow the proper procedures.
And what do you say, Ambassador, to our listeners, many of whom are very, troubled by the human rights abuses of people from the LGBTQ plus community, but also the number of migrant workers who have lost their lives in the build-up to the World Cup? I mean, what do you say to them?
We say, first of all, taking things out of context can come to present a country that has done very little on that front, and the truth is the facts speak for themselves.
And that's the thing. Some people are very worried about the facts that have come out about human rights abuses.
I understand and sympathize and understand their worry, and Qatar has taken substantial steps since it has won the right to host this tournament. Many laws have changed and protections have been put in place. I'll give you an example. We have 400,000 have directly benefited from the minimum wage. I mean, there is no minimum wage that exists in that region except in Qatar with the highest level. There's
but Ambassador, I have to interrupt you. I mean, the number of people who have lost their lives is a real tragedy. I mean, many people are deeply uncomfortable with those statistics.
I think you might be referring to the Guardian number. Do I get that correct? Is this the number that is often circulated?
Yes, and very good quality journalist, very good quality newspaper.
I have no doubt I'm not questioning the quality of the Guardian. It's just saying that the number is inaccurate. We have made statements about it. The mortality rate in Qatar is amongst the lowest per 100,000. And if what they have done is have aggregated the number for the last 10 years, okay, of course, it will come to appear at 6,500.
So what is the number of people who have died in the building of these stadiums?
I don't have the exact figures with me, but in general, the overall mortality rate per 100,000 is well below international average rate. So that's the facts.
And final message to anybody thinking of coming over. What is your message to them? Let's say even men and women together wanting to hold hands or anything like that. What is your advice to people from the United Kingdom who are thinking of coming out for the competition?
I would say Qatar is a hospitable country. It's a welcoming country. We are open, with open hearts, with open arms. We welcome our friends and colleagues and partners in Britain, UK, England, Wales, to come and enjoy and have a great time and support their team and feel safe and get to know the host country's culture, for which I will be very certain that they will be very pleased and hopefully leave with a very good impression. And that's the power of hosting these international tournaments, which is there to initiate dialogue and get one another, get different nations to get to know one another.